Well, I was gonna say so. And I have like some notes here. Like I have literally pages and pages of notes. I've never said any of this shit, but I'm just waiting for the moment. So, okay, and this is kind of a joke, but okay. I said, and this is, I suppose in some scenario, a rebuttal to the body count thing. I said, men who like slutty women are secretly gay.
Yes.
They're in denial.
No, okay, it's not, no. You have it a little wrong.
Well, hold on, let me just finish it. They want another man's cum by proxy.
Okay. So no.
Because like a woman who's like really promiscuous, like let's say you're a dude and you really like a slutty girl and she just fucked a guy like 2 hours ago. They want another man's cum in and around their mouth and dick. That's all I'm saying. It's kind of, it's like a little bit.
That's not where you thought you were going. The same usually, it's like people are coming to attention now that they think men who are serial cheaters are possibly down low gay because like they'll never be fulfilled by the woman in the relationships. They seek it from
I think there can
sources.
be some truth to that too.
Yeah, but that's what I thought you were going with that, but then you went a whole different way.
So I was not laughing at anybody. I was laughing at that because I read that. Just to clarify, I didn't want to seem like an asshole. Yeah. I was reading that.
It's a new rebuttal that has.
And what is this, Puffy? Can you read Puffy Vegas' comment?
Yeah, sure, I'll read it. Puffy Vegas. I have a 300 body count.
Still,
Puffy.
You basically just called Puffy gay over
Puffy, I could. You know what, Puffy? Confirm or deny. Are you gay?
Because
300 women. Shots
300
fired.
women?
Well, that doesn't say
count.
count.
That says count.
True.
He didn't specify.
It says count, so maybe it's just talking about something.
Yeah. It says it doesn't even say count.
I wonder if he does that shit. Puffy, it takes
I think
2 seconds to just spell check this shit.
I know, totally. I think, because we've looked at his Instagram before, I think his Instagram is an attempt at a beard. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he's gay.
Puffy, confirm and deny. Does he play for the other team? Okay.
Send in a TTS, you know.
He's gonna be like, I'm bisexual.
I'll just say this, Keeko, to the whole double standards thing. Like, it makes sense for a guy, even if he has a high body count, because he's had a lot of experience, to prefer a woman with a low body count. That shit makes sense.
That's hypocritical.
Yeah, why would you want?
I disagree. I don't think it's hypocritical. I don't think it's hypocritical. I think it's smart.
So
I think it's smart.
I don't agree with either side necessarily. I don't think it's wrong for a man with a high body count to seek out a woman with a lower body count, purely because I think that men and women value different things out of each other. Thank you. Thank you very much. Because essentially, at least on a baseline level, men value women in like their peak prime, like fertility, youth, beauty. That's like on a baseline level, that's what they seek out. We value somebody that can provide and protect for us. So we look at things like a man's monetary net worth and his job and how reliable he is as like a protector. That's why we're attracted to people that are more like physically fit, taller. Like those are just kind of baseline things that we look for. And yeah, a woman with a high body count doesn't really align with somebody that's, you know, youthful, beautiful, thing, like, natural and pure.
If I want to feel like protecting all that stuff and like even said like liable, like I feel like I can count on them to do that. I personally don't think I could count on a man who's slept with over 100+ women to always be there, because I would always have the fear that he was going to cheat or other things like that. But maybe a woman who had a closer body count to him wouldn't mind that thing. And I also realized too, with men and women, it might be like there's a ratio to it, I would say. Like it doesn't have to be you have 10 bodies, she has 10 bodies. I do see it's more of like he has 30 bodies, she has 10 bodies. That's an even playing field to me, I mean.
Yeah.
But I mean like a girl with 2 bodies and a guy with 80, that's not even.
Yeah.
Or like a girl, but like, it's
that seems fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems fair to me. Yeah. Why not?
I mean, personally, I wouldn't really go for a guy, at least like if he had a high body count too, because just like high as in like, I don't know, but
I also wouldn't want one with 2 bodies either, though.
I want to point out a little difference, though. I want to point out a little difference. So when it comes to the body count thing, so in order for a guy to have a high body count, that requires something. Like he's got game, he's got status, he's got money, he's good looking, right? A woman need not have any of the things I've just listed to get laid. It's very easy for women to get laid. So I think the differential here is, like, you as a woman, you can get a high body count very easily. It's super easy as a woman to get laid. Whereas for a guy, there's a much higher degree of difficulty when it comes to getting laid. So a guy who is capable.
Do you say it's skill based? It makes it they now have a skill based skill with a high body count. That's so not true.
No,
Yeah,
it takes skill.
You guys
no, it
act-
doesn't.
Disagree.
I'm
I
not
disagree.
saying like it's easier
It
for
takes
men,
skill.
but you
It
guys seriously
takes-
act like the only men out there
Creeko.
getting laid
It
are
takes-
10 out of 10.
Yes.
And
No, that's not
with
what I'm saying.
I've seen guys who are nothing take home pretty decent looking women all the time.
I
you
agree.
do not need to be
Wet wipe
some.
challenge? Do we have the wet wipe
You don't need to be some money.
That's not what
person
I'm
with money
saying.
or attractive as a man to be. Is it easier? Sure, of course. It's just like as a woman, it's easier.
But, okay,
it's
we've-
not. That's not.
I don't think he's necessarily saying that you have to be like a top 1% guy to be able to pull chicks all day every day.
It's a
But
skill to pull to have as a man to have sex. As a man to have
It
sex,
does.
it's a skill.
Like your
Yeah,
body
it's not.
count is not an award for you being a good person.
no.
I'm sorry.
So I completely disavow that. I don't think that, like, I'm definitely not saying that men should, try and outcompete each other in terms of body count, but that is the culture that they live in like the bro culture.
Not really. But what are you getting at? What are you getting at?
No, but it does take effort on a man's part in terms of trying to like woo a woman. Like a guy's not gonna just walk into a bar unless he's insanely attractive and just attract women a lot of the times. Like they have to
Say
seek
he buys
out.
her a drink and spends about 10 minutes talking to her, and she's not like Angelina Jolie. He has a pretty good chance.
You-
of,
no.
yeah. I see
No,
it
no,
happen.
no.
Yeah.
My friends
It's
do it. I've
not-
seen it happen
it's not-
all the time.
But you
Like, it's
have this
not-
like confirmation bias where you will.
Maybe I said that. Maybe it's
okay,
different because
more
I've
often,
been in IV in Santa Barbara.
Let me ask you. We'll open this to the whole table. More often than not, right? I don't know if you guys have been at a party, or I know some of you are just getting here at UCSB, but more often than not, if a guy's coming up to you or either let's take it digital too, sliding into your DMs, messaging you on a dating app, more often than not, do you end up sleeping with the guy, or do you end up rejecting him?
I think 9 times out of 10 they get a number
Like,
at
Rejecting.
least.
of all the guys that are like throwing their attention at you, that are trying to hit you up, do you inevitably sleep with them, or do you inevitably reject them?
Reject. Usually reject.
Like the rejection rate, I assume, is like pretty high. So like this idea that, okay, just the first girl you see, go talk to her at the bar, 10 minutes, she's gonna fuck you.
Okay.
It's a numbers, like there's a significant
Yes,
numbers
they
game.
might have to. That's why I
And-
said if they try and put an effort towards it, that's not a skill though, because you bought 3 different girls a drink that night. That's not a
But
skill.
most-
it's because
okay.
it's showing that you are willing to do anything to get laid. That's
thi-
just
do you
the only
think
thing
if
you're
you-
But a
do you
showing.
woman
think-
doesn't have to buy. So sorry. A woman
no,
doesn't
go
have
ahead.
to buy a drink or do literally nothing.
She
But
just has
his
to
point-
She
show
just
up.
have to show up.
Show-
like,
she shows
doesn't
up.
matter how she
So,
looks.
but
gotta show up.
So a guy does have to buy at least a drink or even have like certain type of something
You gotta
to
do more
get,
than
you
that.
know, like certain type of game or whatever you
Yeah,
want to call it.
yeah, I
I'm
do
not
agree with
saying that's
that.
wrong, but he's saying that a woman with a high body count is wrong compared to a man
I
because
didn't
a
say that.
okay,
I
hold on,
didn't say
let me
that.
finish. Because a woman doesn't have to do anything to get laid; she can just open her legs, whereas the man has to put work and effort towards it. That doesn't make it a skill, though. Is what I'm trying to say.
No, I don't think
it's. Yeah, it might be like he has to.
No, but it is a
speak.
skill.
He has to leave his house.
There
like,
is a degree
it's
of
not
skill.
much. It's
well,
not.
well, to be honest, if I like see a guy with a high body count, I'm not like, oh my gosh, that must mean so many girls like him.
No.
Like for me,
No.
if a guy is like, yeah, he might be skilled, but honestly, like if it's crazy numbers, like that means like your morals, and like I feel like at some point, like I don't know, just what I'm like, if I'm looking for like a husband, I'm not looking for someone who has like 100 bodies because he's good at buying girls a drink and is cute and all that stuff.
No, but-
No,
so.
but he's not like a guy's not going to
It's not a
tell
skill.
you his body count. But the thing is that probably a guy who does have a high body count is going to have the requisite experience just from interacting with women and
Yeah.
in the bedroom. He's gonna. Well,
It just means they tried more. It literally only
Yeah.
means that they tried more to have sex. Is literally it.
I
Because
can-
you
I
can
can
look like
see,
anything
though.
and just keep trying. Like as long as you are putting, you could be attractive and not try to have sex, so they're not going to be having a lot of
But-
sex. But as long as it just shows you're trying. Because
But,
is it
okay.
a skill to text and DM 100 girls and then you finally get 3 respond back? Is that a skill?
Well-
no, you just put time aside
well,
to do it.
there is a certain way in which you're going to have to maneuver the conversation
To be successful.
lead it somewhere. Like, how many DMs do
There's-
y'all
there's
get?
weirdos who
and
get
you
laid
just
too.
don't even respond. How many DMs don't go anywhere? So there is some degree of like.
That's why I said it's a numbers game. As long as they keep trying.
No, but it's not even a
they're
numbers
gonna get it.
game. Like if you just suck at communicating, like
You don't.
you're
have-
gonna struggle severely.
Yes, but I'm like, we already said the alcohol thing, stuff like that.
Well, here's the difference,
Is a
right?
guy goes to the club at 1 a.m.
He's not getting
I'm not-
laid. at 1 a.m. It closes at what, 1:30?
1:32. But this is what I'm saying. It's not right, but all he has to do is be mildly
Bro, oh my,
attractive.
you're so full
go
of
into
shit.
the club at 1
You
a.m.
are so
find
full of
whatever
shit.
girl looks like she's a little bit, not in her best interest, and
Well,
he's
guys
getting laid.
shouldn't be doing that.
They
Guys
shouldn't be, but that's what
doing
that.
happens
I
a
think
lot of the
that's what
time,
happens,
especially out here. That's what happening at parties. These girls get drunk, they're not really thinking straight, and the guys see it, and they're like, okay, we're just gonna take her back. It happens all the time. It happens at all the frat parties. It happens everywhere. That's not a skill. Their skill is they find out they've looked at somebody who's tipsy enough, but not enough for them to get arrested.
Okay,
that's
but
the skill.
let's differentiate though. Both men and women, they go to social gatherings. Both genders drink. That's just kind of since forever. Men drink, women drink. People hook up when
I'm
they've
not
been
claiming
drinking.
assault.
It
I'm
is-
not claiming assault,
okay.
but I'm just bringing it to the light away that because you're saying the only possibility no that's
Yeah, but I don't
honestly how
think
a lot
men
of
should do that. I don't think they should be like,
but that's how
let
men
me
are getting their
fucking
bodies. That's how
zone into the
majority of men
gazelle
with high
who's
body
fucking
counts get
tanked.
them.
Don't do that. But if we're talking about like normal, non-predatory, like social dynamics, then.
But
like,
I would say like a lot of men who have high body counts, that's how they're accumulating them. They're not accumulating it from
But plenty of
hitting them up
there's
on
plenty
Instagram
of
and
men and
stuff.
women that go out, they have one drink, and then it's like a consensual.
I'm
they're
not saying
both
I'm not
engaging
saying
in hookup
anything's not
culture.
consensual. I'm not saying anything's not consensual, so don't worry
Okay,
about
fine.
it.
So we'll move
I'm
away from
saying
that.
they're
You're just saying a mid guy can just go out to a bar or a club and just like boom. Okay, it's guaranteed.
I wouldn't say it's not guaranteed, but as long if they try
very
about
low.
3, because like I'm not saying
3 chicks.
I'm not saying it's assault, but when you're drinking, you might be more inclined to do some things that you wouldn't do if you weren't drinking. So in that scenario, I feel like it's very easy for men to hook up with girls
It's
that way.
easier,
that's
but
actually-
it doesn't mean that it's easy. It's maybe a little bit easier, but it doesn't mean that it's easy. And they still have to do something, like
And actually,
Talk
Something.
to her, communicate. I mean, that's not a skill.
I actually strongly
That's
don't
what I'm
recommend.
arguing about.
I don't recommend. Well, me personally, as someone who's introverted who doesn't like to drink, I certainly don't recommend to men. One, just because it's a waste of time. There's what's the term? There's safety concerns. I definitely don't recommend men go to bars, clubs, parties, etc. Like, get your money right, go to the gym, don't fuck around in these party environments. But that's just me as a fucking introvert who doesn't drink. But unless there's the champagne. Is there champagne pop, Brandon? No, but no, this idea that a guy can just go out and he's just gonna get laid, like that's
Well,
very
you guys are literally,
naive.
it's just really ironic though, because you guys began this podcast saying that women need to close their legs because you guys are sleeping around with everybody. So which one is it? Are women sleeping with men or are they not? Like, are we all eating into hookup culture and making it worse as women, or are we all not sleeping with men and it's hard for them to get laid? Like,
Well, that's a different discussion.
You guys flip it to make it whatever way fits your fancy, instead of actually looking at probably more statistical evidence that's out there.
Well, that's a totally different discussion.
Or if you go outside and just see it with your own eyes. Because I saw it in college when I was living out there. I saw it at the bars, working at the clubs. I'm not
people
pulling this out of my ass.
hook up. No, I'm not saying people don't hook up. I guess the main difference here is we're talking about the difficulty with which men and women have when it comes to getting a relationship or even just getting sex. I mean, if anyone wants to challenge me, they can, but I think it's pretty evident that when it comes to purely just getting laid, women have like a major leg up compared to men.